acceptance of a contract by performance. They have performed. They lodged the check. That's performance on their end. They have accepted. Your offer of contract was good. It's now in place. But they will not want it to remain in place. So then they pull the fast one. And here's the fast one, folks. It's so simple. It's so subtle. It's so deviously sneaky. You almost have to admire them for it. Almost. They send a communication to you. Shortly thereafter, most likely. Your request has been denied. Your request is rejected. We have accepted check number blah 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 as part payment. Please forward the balance blah 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 blah. You know the type of thing I mean. What they're trying to do is make you a counter offer, a new offer for a new contract, whereby you destroy your old contract and engage in this new contract with them, whereby what you've given them is not enough to effectively satisfy demand obligations on that account number. When that letter arrives, how you handle that letter determines whether or not your offer remains in place. If you negotiate, you have just ripped up your offer, you may as well not have sent it to them. So there are numerous ways of responding appropriately to that. One way, I like one-sentence responses. One way is to simply send back their material, I suppose, and send them another one. I am happy with the contract as it stands. Or you could scroll across their document. I recall no such request. That way, you're basically letting them know, I recall no such request. Because you sent an offer. You didn't send a request. Now, somebody then last night said, "Ha! But wait a minute. What if they don't cash the check? What if they send the check back to you?" Well, in theory, that's even better again, because if they refuse payment, and if they refuse any effective payment off the debt, they have forgiven the debt, or at least if they haven't forgiven the debt, they have decided there is no debt. They can no longer see a debt. They have no choice, folks. None whatsoever. I have seen their response. I have seen these responses. Once you offer a good, genuine offer, I can't see how they can refuse. They can't refuse. Now, why does this matter? What's the next level for this? A, how could they possibly engage in any legal action against you? Because you now have a contract, a binding contract, and you're holding your end of the bargain. They might, well, you might think, well, this is going to mean my mortgage is going to take an extra 15 years to pay. Sure, perhaps. So what? It's better than being homeless, right? If you're not able to cope or deal with this paperwork in any other way, it's better than trying to live under the sky eating grass, folks, believe me. And think of all the time you'll have to educate yourself. And as Harry just put in, We the People, Harry just put in the box there, it's stalemate for them. It is absolutely stalemate. And it's completely and totally and utterly in line with the 7 elements of contract. And any other elements you can think of that I haven't thought of. And now, as I said, this is not a remedy, it's a sticking plaster. The whole thing, there you go, as Richie just put into the box, is fiction. It's all fiction. But to stop their fiction machine cranking up all its energy and coming after you by you attempting to challenge the fiction before you're ready to challenge it, I can't see how that method would fail you. So I'd like people to have a think it through. Don't rush it. Ponder on it. And as I said, if you think maybe, it's a little bit one way or another, by all means, I'd like to hear from you. Okay, here's another question. Is the suggestion that the offer to the financial entity is a monthly sum of money? Yeah, if you'll actually look at the comment Yoda put in the chat box there. Official offer. Offer to bank. Now the offer is to the bank, not to accounts manager, blah, 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 in the bank. It's to bank. So if you bank with, for example, AIB, offer to AIB by the name to now operate on account 123456, euro symbol, so many euros, affected monthly as satisfaction on all account demand obligations by. It's real simple. And yes, you would have to perform every month. Your 500, your 600, whatever it is. Now, where this is open to abuse, of course, is somebody might decide, well, I'm only going to send them a 1 cent a month. And in theory, yes, you can do that. And in theory, no, there's nothing they could do about it. But if you're going to use this type of information to be greedy, now, look, if you really, really are in that position where all you can actually afford to send them is 1 cent a month, well, by all means. But we have to bring what I think is important into all of this stuff. We have to bring a matter of conscience in onto this. We have to accept the responsibility for this system, folks. We are responsible for the system. We put it in place. Good question there by Paddy Mac. Vin, do you write anything on the back of the note? Yeah, so I would just write official offer across the back of that note. And as Harry said then, you just walk in, pay over the counter, once a month, by post, check, whatever. Very simple. And welcome back to tnsradio.com. Time now, 10 to 10 apparently, and 17th of the 7th, 2011. I see by some of your comments up there in the chat box yet. Maybe I'm not being clear. The text that's actually up there by Yoda, have a look at that again. I'm going to copy that again and repaste it back into the chat box again. Oops, why is that not copying? Here we go. No, still not copying for me. What the heck have I done wrong? Yoda, if you wouldn't mind copy and paste that back into the chat box again for me. You address to the bank. So, believe it or not, if you take an envelope and write on the front of it, to AIB Bank, and put it into a post box, it will get there. That is the address. Thank you, John. That is the address. You don't need to put your postal address. Your address is on there by person. That's your address. Person is the address. All the information they require is on that. Offer to AIB Bank, for example, ABC Bank, call it whatever you will. They will recognize that that's them, or the people that work in there. They will recognize that's us by the person's name. Well, they will recognize that as the person's name operating on account number 123456. The amount affected monthly as satisfaction on all account demand obligations. So you don't need to specify anything. That's it. It's done. That's everything. Simple works, folks. Simple. Now, as I said, this is not a remedy. This is not a cure. And if somebody said to me, do you recommend this, Vin? I would say, no, I don't recommend it. I do not. Richie is closer to the truth than anybody, folks. It's all just fiction. But knowing how to walk away from it is difficult for some people to grasp. So this is only to, as I said, it's only a sticking plaster to give you time to educate yourself. That's all, really. Just a bit of time. It will stop the system attacking you. For a time. I think. I mean, you know, nothing's 100% on how you react to it. Well, you know, unless you come and share with others your responses and discuss how you think you should respond appropriately, well, who knows? Maybe you might make an arse of it. And you see, this happens sometimes. People put out remedies and notions, and somebody takes it as read. And they go and do it, and then somebody sends a letter back to them, and they get on the internet and say, ha! I tried that. It didn't work. It's bullshit. He's a liar. When in fact, most likely, they got it wrong, or they failed in the process. Or they didn't understand enough. They didn't comprehend. I mean, I'm sure everybody heard Daryl stand up last night, and this is true, and he will, you know, he doesn't agree with everything I say, and I don't agree with everything he says. That's okay. But we still go and talk together, folks. We still go and we say, look, here's both sides. But here's two sides you don't get to hear about normally. You make the decision.